Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cashet Roberts. Y'all, what is the day? Well, I always film on the Mondays before the show, clearly. But when you're hearing this, of course, it'll be June 10th. That means it'll be a couple days since all of this Bravo news. Like, I have reality topics, but really they're Bravo topics. I think every single topic is Bravo because that's how much stuff happened this weekend. Filming early because I was just like, you know what? Let's get it out the way because the news is nonstop. And if I don't film it now, the news is just going to keep coming. It's just going to keep coming. Welcome to Toxic But Make It Tuesday, or Toxic But It's Tuesdays. This is going to be the new theme because on Fridays I sometimes have What's the Reality on What the Reality. So on Tuesdays it's going to be called Toxic But It's Tuesday. We're still working with it, but it's going to be like TBIT. So it's going to be like, it's a toxic Tuesday, literally, but it's toxic, but it's Tuesday. So of course we're about to talk about all the toxicity that's going on Bravo, on Housewives, all of this stuff, because everything we talk about is literally toxic. Of course, this is your Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. We're going to talk about Bravo's Love Hotel, but I really want to get into these topics, these reality topics, because this weekend has my head in a spinner. Like, let's start first with Summer House. Paige DeSorbo announced her exit from Summer House. Let me get her statement up. Someone else that announced they were leaving Summer House, Lexi, announced that she's leaving. Or I was listening to Behind the Velvet Rope, and he was saying it didn't sound like she was leaving. It sounded like she's leaving this past summer in the past, or like leaving this summer in the past. I think she's leaving. Let's get into Paige's statement because yeah, it's just been non-stop. I'm not shocked that she's literally leaving, like, at all. It just makes sense to me. Because I even said it at the reunion, Watch Happens Live. I felt like Paige was very, like, over it. She's been over the Craig stuff. Of course, she should be. She's been over it. Okay, her statement said, I have a little life update for you. I've made the decision not to return to Summer House. Being a part of this show has been one of the most rewarding chapters of my life. The friendships, the drama, the giggles, all unforgettable. You've seen me grow up over these past 7 summers. I'll always be beyond grateful for the memories, the community, and the opportunities this wild ride has brought me. But like all good things and some bad decisions, it's time for the chapter to close. To my castmates, the fans, and my NBCU family, thank you. I never could have imagined that this journey would turn into, and how many of you would be along for the ride. And you haven't seen the last of me, I promise. So much more to do together. But for now, just know you can always find me and Daphne in bed. Like, what? I'm not shocked. Paige DeSorbo, 7 seasons on Summer House. It has been an amazing ride for her, in my opinion. This is the way you really want to exit a show, a sinking show. You want to exit on a high. If Paige was to come back, it would have been fine, of course. But my thing is like, how long can we do Summer House with the cast is going on? I do think it's itching in a new direction. And I think Paige leaving now is the correct decision. And you're leaving on top. Her Ariana Madix, I compare to, because Ariana left Vanderpump Rules, or that was rebooted because Ariana wasn't coming back. She left at a perfect, opportune time. Paige DeSorbo's leaving at a perfect, opportune time. It just makes sense. It makes no sense for her to come back. It's so amazing that she can walk away because it's a huge check. It's a huge Bravo check. It's amazing she can walk away. Craig is still on TV. Craig is going to be milking that Southern charm until he is about 50 years old, like some of his cast members. They're not the same. And it's just becoming more clear why they needed to break up. They're just not the same. I have too much sun on me, but the sun is setting, so it's whatever. Yes, so after that, it was Lexi Wood that announced her departure, which is what I thought was a departing message, but some people are like, is she leaving? Yeah. Her announcement was a little weird. She said, well, that wasn't the summer I signed up for, but it definitely taught me a lot. I stood up for women and for what's right, even when it wasn't easy. And I do that again in a heartbeat. I'm leaving Summer House with no regrets. Well, maybe one. Before saying okay, I'm reading this from an article. Am proud of what I walked away from. She said, big things are coming. Stay tuned. I said that in one of my TikTok videos. Because I was just like, Lexi Wood, like, she's working with Pat McGrath, Makeup by Mario. She's walking Miami swimwear and not just like a Bravo pick like Bethany Frankel or Stassi. Like, she's a model pick to walk. I'm assuming this has boosted her modeling. She's dated was it Landon Barker? I don't think it was Landon Barker. She's dated the Beckham's son. Why do I think his name is Landon too? She's dated him. She dated Julia Roberts' son, not Julia Roberts, someone else's son, Kaya Gerber's brother. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her mom's name right now, and it's driving me insane. Oh my gosh, I have to look up Kaya Gerber's mom, y'all. I might edit this out because when I tell you I'm having Cindy Crawford. She dated Cindy Crawford's son, Kaya Gerber's brother. Lexi will be fine. She's always been in the limelight. I think Bravo was trying to get her more in the limelight. I think she did not enjoy her time, especially the reunion, which I'm not even talking about in this because the reunion was just so bad to me. It could have been better. I just feel like the whole laughing, making a joke about the whole Lexi, Jesse of it all. Jesse still isn't famous enough to walk away from Summer House. So I always feel like a part of him resents Lexi, and just like he resents Wes, because Wes could for real walk away from Summer House. He's not gonna because he's in his prime, but he could because he's working at Complex and he has all these connections now. Like, Wes could do something different. Also, Carl was supposed to make an announcement. I did read the statements taken down everywhere. People are saying it was fake because it was from this Twitter account called Hasty Headlines. They're saying it's fake. I don't think it's fake because apparently it was a post and delete. And now they're saying he had to delete it because it wasn't approved by PR. I'm not shocked. So that might be 3 potential people that have left Summer House within a weekend. I'm expecting more departures, especially because Brynn, let's get to Roni. Brynn has announced her departure from Real Housewives of New York, the reboot. Let me get her statement out because it was a load of bullocks. In my British voice. It was a load of bullocks because I'm just like, girl, what business? So she said, a little life update. After a lot of thought, I've made the decision to walk away from reality TV for now. Last week, RHOBH, which is her dating app that she co-founded, which is just bizarre. It's like two worlds meeting. If you guys know, Bethany Frankel used to be on. Of course, she used to be on. She had a daughter named Brynn with this guy named Jason Hoppy. And then Brynn is on the new Roni. And her name is Brynn, Bethany Frankel's daughter's name. And now she has a dating app that's called Hoppy. What? Okay, so she says, Hoppy, the dating app I co-founded and proudly serve as chief marketing officer, hit a massive download milestone. I can't even put into words how surreal it feels. All I want to do now is pour every ounce of energy into building Hoppy into the #1 dating app in the world. Is it working, y'all? Is it up? Have you guys tried to date on there yet? The Real Housewives of New York City will always be one of the most fun, chaotic, and magical chapters of my life. It was an honor of a lifetime to help reboot such an iconic franchise from day one. I believe Roni is a fan's show. We're just temporary custodians of something that truly belongs to the viewers. I hope I made you laugh a lot, cry a little, and more than anything, I hope there's a TV heaven so that Mimi, who lived for her shows, could watch me and be proud. To every person who gave me a chance, cheered me on, and afforded me love and grace, thank you. I'm endlessly grateful. The good news is I'm just getting started. I've never felt more me than on my Spotify podcast. Please see below. That's literally the name of her podcast. And prepare to laugh, cry, and possibly poop when you read my book coming out later this year. To date, I've only shared a fraction of who I am, what I've been through, and what I've learned. It's the most vulnerable thing. It's the most vulnerable thing I've ever written. Splitting my time between London and NYC office building Hoppy alongside the most successful entrepreneurs, developers, and marketers creating the app where the good guys are, where dating feels fun, safe, and cool again. It feels like a lifelong dream I never knew was coming. As Sheryl Sandberg said, if you're offered a seat on a rocket ship, don't ask what seat, just get on. So here we go. We're done dating his dad. It's time to steal his inheritance. That whole statement was unnecessary, and the rocket comment was unnecessary because we all know what's going on with spaceships and stuff at the moment. But she's dipping out of here, so that's that. I mean, what else can you say? That is that. And I also saw a rumor about who's possibly joining the cast. They said it's going to be looking like three newbies: Aaron, Sai, Jessel, Jenna, and Raquel. They could have got rid of someone else. Jenna. Jenna don't need to be on there. Jenna hates being on there. She doesn't like reality TV. Every moment she can, she tries to like disrespect Andy. I'm shocked he hasn't caught on. Showing up to a reunion in jeans, showing up to a reunion in a robe. Every chance she gets, she's trying to do something slick. That's why I don't really like Jenna. And then also I just feel like you're not even up here to be making requests. Her and Uba was not on the list for returning. I'm not shocked if she doesn't return because the incident that happened last season was just so bad. But you're not even up here to be making these crazy requests of like, oh, I'm not filming with this person, I'm not filming with that person. Like, you guys are on season 2. So for me, Andy keeping Jenna around is just an ego boost for him, just to prove that he knows someone. It's kind of giving Carol Radziwill, but at least with Carol, she filmed with anyone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have got rid of Jenna as well. And then 3 newbies, and they said one of the newbies is well-known. This was a Twitter post. And I think that well-known newbie is clearly Lindsay Hubbard. How can it not be Lindsay Hubbard? But that is Roni Summerhouse. We stuck in New York. Let's move down. Let's move to Mormon before we hit Atlanta. Because as you know, there is so much going on in Atlanta. I gotta get some water. Okay, let's get back to the news. I'm just reading press releases today. I'm reading statements on Instagram. Just call me the press girl, because everyone is dropping a statement on their Instagram story for some reason. Either way, there is, to my shock, there's gonna be a Salt Lake City, a Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion that just so happens to be based in Utah, Salt Lake City. But there's gonna be a reunion. Nick Viall is hosting it. He's like obsessed with them, apparently. I don't know how he got that gig. Don't ask me. Period. He's interviewed like all of them, so I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I'm just genuinely shocked. Period. So everyone was there, including Miranda, but someone that wasn't there was Demi. And I think Demi wasn't at the reunion because she needed more money. I think she probably thought she was going to get more money when they were like, no, this is how much we're offering you. She found out how much Taylor was getting paid. Taylor's getting paid more than her, as she should. And she's like, I'm not going to show. I think she thought they were going to negotiate with her more. They didn't. The show continued on. The show continues on. It continues on. The fact that she did not show to the first reunion, ego trip. And I know she's upset that it's premiering without her. Everybody showed up. Like I said, Miranda showed up. I'm pretty sure Chase wanted to show up. The fact that you didn't show up, because she thinks she's bigger than the girls. But I don't think she could stand the heat. So this is what they said. They said you weren't invited to the reunion. She did like the Instagram questions. They said fact or cap. She's like, ask me whatever, fact or cap. Someone asked her, you're not invited to the reunion. She said cap. It was short notice, and the only day they could get the location secured was the day that me and my entire family did Disneyland. We had already booked all of our flights, and the Airbnb was non-refundable, or I would have moved the trip to be there. I tried to have production move it to another day and they couldn't swing it, sadly. But did you need to go to Disneyland at your big age? I love Cedar Point. Do I need to be going to... I've been to Disneyland or... yeah, I haven't been to Disney World or the other one. Been to Disneyland once. I don't need to go back. It's not a place you go back to. Now, Cedar Point, Busch Gardens, I can get with that. But no, I'm just like, girl, how much of that is true and how much of that is false? She's saying production couldn't move it. I'm pretty sure they couldn't. She's saying the Airbnb was non-refundable. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But if it's a whole trip, why can't you just use your TikTok money? But that's the thing. That's the word on the street, is that Demi and her husband are struggling. They're struggling to pay for things, which is why she wanted money out of Jesse's pocket, out of her hair salon, which is why she didn't want Taylor on there anymore. She wanted to be the HMIC, the head mom in charge. That's why she was wanting all that money. She had an issue with, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name right now, and I feel terrible because I actually love her. The blonde. There's so many of them that are blonde. The blonde with the blue eyes, Macy. She was upset Macy got a book deal because that's more money in her pocket. She was upset Macy got a chance to do the open for something because that was money in Macy's pocket. She needs money. I know for a fact she needs money. So that's probably why she's like, I couldn't make it, or I thought they were going to offer me more money. Genuinely shocked you would skip out on that. It's your first reunion. You know people aren't really liking you right now. Why the heck would you skip? I don't know. She's saying because of Disneyland. But my thing is, like, did you really need to be at Disneyland versus clearing your name? Or you're missing one day of Disneyland. I'm assuming y'all not just going down there for one day. So she'll be in Disneyland coming up soon. She has to be. She has to be. Let's get into Atlanta. There are some things happening in Atlanta. There's a lot happening. I gotta find a document because I gotta figure out what this girl is suing the network for. Another day, another Bravo lawsuit. That should be the opening. Another day, another Bravo lawsuit, because it's always a lawsuit. Somebody's always suing them. If it's not a scorned housewife, it's somebody. They're always getting sued. All right. I just want to pull up the details of that. Okay, so first of all, we had the seating chart. Let's start easy. Atlanta seating chart came out. It made no sense. I feel like Giselle when Karen's like, do you get it? And Giselle's like, I get it. And then her confession is like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get the seating chart. Andy Cohen. I might do a graphic. Andy Cohen, right there. And I talked about this in my last Tuesday episode, how I was like, if they put Phaedra as a second seat, we have a serious issue. So first of all, we find out Brit didn't go to the reunion because of the reunion chart. She dipped out on it. And man, I knew there was something I had to do before I recorded. I wanted to watch Kenya's full confessionals thing. I didn't get a chance to watch it. But we got Andy Cohen in the middle, obviously. On his left, which will be on your right because I flipped this. On the left was Portia, Phaedra, Brit Eady. I mean, not Brit Eady. Kelly. Why do I get them confused? Kelly. It was Kelly there, right? And then this side, we have Shamia, Angela, Cynthia. No, I think that's Brit there. We got Brit on this side. Cynthia was on this side. She was after Phaedra. So it was like kind of OGs versus new Gs. And then after Kelly, we have Drew Sidora. I don't know why Drew is last. Maybe a lot of the cast is not liking her right now. That is really bizarre to me. We find out Brit wasn't there. If anything, I thought Brit was going to get second seat. I thought Drew was going to get second seat. I figured Shamia was going to get first seat if it was giving the beginning of the season, all the stuff her and, Portia were going through. As the season ends, I thought it should have went to Drew. Drew should have been second seat at the reunion. She's all the way at the end. So I don't know what happened. But Brit decided not to show up because yeah, she says she just skipped. So people were anticipating for Brit to be there. I wonder where Brit would have been seated. As we know, Kenya Moore was disinvited to the reunion. And now my question is for Bravo is like, was it worth it? Because the girl that you wanted to tell this story didn't even show up to complete the story. She kind of just left it open-ended. Right now we're just watching an episode with her breastises everywhere after Shamia's literally mourning. Well, not mourning, but she's literally, you know, having a difficult time with her daughter's sickness because her daughter gets sick often. And when she gets sick, it's heightened because she has a lot of immune issues. So she's literally crying in the corner, and you have Brit, not self-aware at all, taking out her breasts and putting them on the counter. I'm like, can we wipe that up? Brit? So I'm like, Bravo, was it worth it? So Brit did not show up to the reunion. She skipped it because apparently she found out, because right now she was watching the stuff, she has found out that those images that Kenya showed were not her. When I tell you, when I read that, I was just like, then why the heck was Kenya fired? And I'm not even a Kenya stan. Bravo, what are we doing? So now I'm like, it's become so clear that they do not like Kenya, because the fact that Kenya's kicked off a show for showing explicit photos and it wasn't even a Brit. Kenya said there was an investigation done for the gun that Brit was alleging, but she said it was done 3 weeks later. Probably the investigation for the pictures was done like a day later. But I'm like, surely y'all would show Brit the images and be like, is this you? And she would have to comply. That did not happen. She said the pictures aren't even her. I guess the first pictures were her when she was like parading them on the billboards. And then when it got to the explicit photo, they all assumed it was Brit. Brit's seen it now. She's like, that's not me. She said, that's not me. So that was that. And then we got another announcement from Brit. We're just keeping it in the announcements. So then we got another announcement from Brit that she's filing a $20 million lawsuit against Bravo. So and the production company's Truly Original, Animal Shine North America, accusing the defendants of defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, false light, sexual harassment, and hostile work environment. She's also taken Real Housewives of Atlanta off her bio, and she also has a open to work banner up on LinkedIn. I don't know if she did or somebody photoshopped that, but she is open to work. She is no longer in the business of production. She is no longer going to BravoCon, probably. She was one of the first people confirmed for BravoCon. She's probably not going to BravoCon anymore. That's that. So let's get into what this lawsuit is alleging. So it centers around the incident that was featured, you know, in April with Kenya. It's about that. And supposedly, let me see. So she says that the manner in which the episode was aired falsely yet unmistakably implied that the graphic sexual photograph presented by the cast member depicted Eady. The lawsuit says. She said, on information and belief, defendants knew that the photograph did not depict Eady, or at the least were reckless or grossly negligent in failing to learn that the photograph did not depict Eady. So she's saying that now, but my thing is like, if you knew that, why not say something in those scenes? You were saying you were losing your insurance license. You said all of this stuff. She said that she's having trouble sleeping, but it wasn't even her. So y'all, when I tell you my head is spinning, it is spinning. So now we find out you didn't show up to the reunion. We also now are finding out that you found out that the images were not you. And now we are learning that you are suing Bravo for $20 million. And then I saw a tweet or there's little segments of it. They're saying that she never saw the images. I guess allegedly she requested them from production multiple times. They never gave her those images. So that's the first red flag. I'm like, so Bravo, you might be in some heat. Was this girl requesting the images and you were just like, oh, it's definitely you? Yikes. So Kenya responded the day of the reunion chart, but then also all this other news is coming out. Kenya said, please know I take full accountability for my actions and deeply apologize to all those affected, including Brittany, the cast, crew, guests, and viewers. I look forward to seeing you all back on Bravo soon. So Kenya's coming back, but I don't know if she can come back if there's a lawsuit now. Like, what are the odds that Kenya can come back? Speaking of people coming back, we got 2 girls from Bravo that are, ooh, that might be too loud. My phone just like slapped my thing. We got 2 girls from Bravo coming back to Bravo. We got Monique Samuels back on Potomac. She's actually was just filming this past weekend for Gay Pride, for Pride Month, Pride History Month in DC. She was on the float. She was next to Giselle in the photo op. And then we got Rachel Zoe from the Rachel Zoe Project. This is the Rachel Zoe Project. She is joining Beverly Hills. We also did good confirmation from freaking Erica Jane herself that she is coming back. Now Erica Jane has outran Lisa Vanderpump's tenure on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. How? I don't know. I really thought we could have done without Erica Jane, but as you guys can see, there are images. I might plaster them, I might not, because I literally am having nightmares thinking about it. Tom Girardi was convicted. He's spending 87 years in prison. In the words of Erica, he don't even have 87 days. He looks insane. He looks so scary. Did they say 87? No, 7 years. 7 years. I think he's 87 though, but she said he don't even have 87 days. He looks crazy. I might show the images. He looks like a super villain. He does not look great. He actually looks very scary. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, that is really your reality topics on this Toxic But It's Tuesday episode. A lot of comebacks. We had Beyond the Villa trailer drop, so that's coming out July 13th. Or July 10th, I think. We got Real Housewives of Miami coming back this week. I think comes back either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's giving Wednesday. Summer House is over. We won't see Paige DeSorbo on Bravo as we know it, or Lexi Wood, or hopefully Carl. And what else? Jenny in Georgia is out. Been enjoying that. What else did I watch? I watched Anyone But You. I love a good rom-com. It was okay. It was okay. I really liked, what did I watch? I watched Straw from Tyler Perry, Taraji P. Henson. That was really good. I watched something else too. I just watched Your Place or Mine with Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher. I'm just in a rom-com mood. My life's boring. So let's spice it up with some rom-coms. That was good too. Anyone But You I thought would have been a little better. Especially with all the hype about the whole Glenn and freaking Sydney Sweeney drama, or the whole like will they or won't they. I also just saw something about Justin Baldoni's countersuit being tossed out. I'm gonna get into that on Thursday's episode. We're taking a break from What's the Reality. Looking forward to the next What's the Reality on What the Reality topic. Let's get into this Atlanta Housewives recap. The sun is setting. I hope I don't have to turn my light on. Guys, I'm filming perfectly on time. I just angled my thing down because the sun's like, but oh gosh, I love when I can film early in the day and not at night, because at night I swear I'm like a crazy person walking like tomorrow if I stay up too late and record. Because I'm like, what am I talking about? Sometimes I'm recording, I'm like, I'm not even going to listen to that back because I didn't even know what I was talking about because I was so delirious and tired at that moment. Okay, let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. I think we have 2 more episodes left. I'm ready to wrap it up. To be honest, the reunion now, I wonder if it's only 2 parts, because with Brit Eady, she was supposed to tell the Kenya more of it all and like how she felt. Now that that segment's completely gone, I hope they don't try to stretch it to 3 parts. Like Summer House was only 2 parts. They need to keep it at that. Let's keep Atlanta at 3 parts. We don't reward them when they don't show up. I don't know. We don't even need to spend time talking about it. You disinvited Kenya, and then the girl that was supposed to show up literally skipped it. So I really hope it's not 3 parts, because I'm like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? Let's get into some hot topics with Atlanta on this past episode. I stopped really doing like the scene by scene stuff because I'm just like, oh, exhausted doing that. But then also I'm just like, some stuff of significance just didn't happen. There's some stuff I definitely want to point out though, starting off with they are on the trip to Grenada. This is day 2. So a couple of stuff is happening. This is the day of Angela and Charles' wedding anniversary. I'm trying not to, oh Lord, I hope the sun's not like, I'm really trying not to reserve my judgment because I don't know anyone's marriage, but what fun is that? Angela and Charles, their dynamic, it reminds me of something I see in my daily life. Like, it reminds you of that old school, like, you know, oh, like, y'all been married for 40 plus years, you both get on each other's nerves, but you just, like, provoking each other. You don't, it reminds me of something. It just reminds me of that old school love that it's just like, oh, you at a certain point in life, you're just kind of like, whatever. I don't see any chemistry between them. And it's so sad for me to see, because here go Angela always trying to put him on a pedestal, like put some respect on my husband's name. How much she loves him, how much they've been through. She's very transparent in that, which is what we all appreciate. Unfortunately, I feel like whenever she tries to give him a bone, he kind of just takes that bone and spits it out. He doesn't really appreciate the fact that she is giving him an out a lot of the times. Like, she'll call him, she called him, and he wasn't answering. And it's like, and it could be production as well. Maybe she wasn't calling him that much. I'm pretty sure she was calling him that much. But like, she's calling him, he's not answering, and all we're seeing is like a scene of him not answering. I'm trying to like, I got this sun on me. Okay, let's see if that works, because the sun's not my bestie right now. So yeah, she's calling him, he's not answering, and like I said, I just hate that, because I feel like she's always trying to put him on a pedestal, and it's not giving that. Like, it's giving like he doesn't want to be bothered. He did not answer her first phone call. So then we have the girls meeting up at, it was Shamia and Kelly's, or it was at Phaedra's, I'm pretty sure. Phaedra and Brit. So they go over there. Shamia still don't got no fresh drawers. Girl, I don't understand what's the hesitancy. Go to a store, go find you a CVS and find you a 6-pack of underwear. She whipping out these outfits. Girl, where is the underwear? That's the type of stuff that I'm just kind of like, you're a little nasty. Like, you're freeballing it, you're not wearing underwear. And now it's like, none of your stuff is there. I would go to the store immediately. They have stores in Grenada. Of course they do. So I don't know why she's not going. Maybe they're like in the village part and they can't really go. Or maybe they're just like even the hotel wouldn't have underwear. But I'm just saying, they have like malls and stuff. Like, I don't know why she wouldn't get her people or the producers to go on that trip yet. And it just makes me think like, ew, you're nasty. Anyway, Phaedra thinks that Kelly is very loud because, yeah. Is Kelly loud? Yeah. And I just love how Kelly's like, okay, I'll talk like this. Like, in her whole confessional, it was so funny. I don't know. Phaedra, I like Phaedra. I think her return has been much needed. I'm really much appreciating it. But I will say Phaedra is acting like she's been there from the first episode. She's throwing a lot of shade at Drew, which we're going to get into. I'm not liking it. She's throwing a lot of shit at Angela, and I'm just like, there has to be something there. Like, her and Charles clearly dated. Something happened. But I don't like the shade she's giving Drew. But Kelly is fun shade. Like, the garden gnome, this, you're very loud, especially because she said it to her face. Kelly is loud. As loud as I just said that. She is. Like, you'll be sitting, all the girls have said that. Shamia said that. Angela said it. You'll be sitting next to her and she'll like make an announcement that she's sitting next to you. Like, she's very loud. I don't fault her on that. I just thought it was interesting how like she's like, yeah, you're very loud. Like, you can tell she's not really digging her. So then Kelly or somebody brings something up again with Drew. And then Drew's like, I think it was Kelly. She was like who's, like, they were trying to recap the night, like what happened. And then Drew's like, well, I want to talk about this weird energy between Kelly and Brit. She talks about that in her confessional. I guess there was some weird tension, which we're going to eventually see play out. But she's like, why can't we talk about that? Why do we have to keep talking about who I'm dating? And I agree, like, and also it's like Drew can't be dating Dennis and this black guy. Also, I tried to Google him. Who is this black guy? Is he a producer? Like, literally, who is black? I don't know. But they keep throwing his name around like we're supposed to know. Like, is he some huge producer we're supposed to know? I tried to Google him. Not Googleable. Who is black, y'all? Do you know? Please let a girl know. Okay, what else is happening? Yes. So they are on the car ride to their separate excursions. There's two excursions. Kelly is mostly with the newbies. They're all going to make some food. And then we got Phaedra, Portia, Cynthia, and Shamia going to the waterfalls. So it was like an OG versus new G. I enjoyed seeing that. So in the car, Phaedra was like, I like Brit and I'm enjoying getting to know her, but I don't know why she brought up the Apollo of it all. And I agree. I thought that was really weird. I'm doing Delulus of the week. These are people that are delusional. Huda from Love Island made that. If you guys watch Sirens, Peter from Sirens made it when he kissed Simone. Who else made it? This Arna girl that is saying Coco Gauff didn't win because she was incredible. She won because Arna or herself didn't play so great. She made too many mistakes. And then we, of course, had Georgia make it from Next Gen NYC, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then, of course, we had freaking Brit make it because I should have included her. I forgot to include her. Brit thought it was cool to, at that moment, or maybe I did include her. She's like, I just want to say, like, I didn't invite Apollo to my dinner. Mike invited him. Mike is the one that knows him. And I just thought that was interesting because nobody was talking about Apollo. Apollo has been with that new girl and they're not even together anymore for a while. Him and Phaedra haven't been together for a while. So Phaedra was just like, I just thought it was interesting. She brought that up. And the ladies in the car were just like, yeah, that was very interesting because it's like, why would you bring that up? It made no sense at the point. It made no sense. So Shamia's very bothered by Brit's donation. There's like literally a bunch of kids riding their bikes and you just all came up the hill like a gang of kids. Okay. Anyway, Shamia, you can tell she's very bothered by Brit's donation. So Brit donated. She also sent her $250. So Shamia just thinks it's odd to be pulling up in a Birkin and a Rolls Royce. Twitter's saying the Birkin wasn't real. Given that she's suing Bravo for $20 million, I don't think it was real. It's probably fake. So Shamia and Phaedra then talk about Drew. And everyone is talking about Drew, and it's really starting to annoy me because now Phaedra's trying to play it off like Drew don't have a career, or only a career in the black industry, black entertainment, when it's like that TLC biopic on VH1 did numbers. I loved that movie. And I wasn't even in the TLC era, but I thought it was a really good movie with Keke Palmer, Drew Sidora, and Lil Mama. It was a really good film. And Drew Sidora has, like, she's a video vixen. Like, she's done a lot. She's, like, a huge actor. She's been in Step Up, like, all of that stuff. So, The Game. So, I don't know why it seems like a cheap shot to me to come on the show and instantly have an issue with Drew. And it's like, but we did learn on Watch Happens Live that Phaedra and Ralph are friends. So, maybe that's where the animosity is coming from. But I'm not really liking, like, the constant, like, Drew bashing. And they're, like, saying, like, Shamia's like, well, when I bring Drew's name up, nobody knows her. And it's almost as if you do bring her up and people do know her and you're so threatened by that. I think the ladies are so threatened by the fact that people do know Drew Sidora. Like, Drew Sidora is a household name. So I think at a certain point they're kind of jealous at this point, because it's like, why do you keep bringing up the fact that you're bringing it up to people that people don't know her? It's really weird to me. So we have that incident and I'm just like, why do we keep bringing her up? Phaedra then also talks about Angela. Phaedra's just going around like just talking about all the new girls, like she's been filming with them this whole time. Like, girl, you just hopped in. How you got second seat is beyond me. But it's like, Phaedra, you're losing me. You're losing your stands. I'm not a stan because she was wrong. Listen to What's the Reality on With the Reality part 2 of my Phaedra and Candy breakdown. I get into Phaedra's butt. But yeah, I'm not liking Phaedra's whole like OG act, like, oh, I never knew Charles to be married. Well, Apollo clearly wasn't either. Let me stop. Okay, so then let's move to Portia. Portia does think Brit whines a lot. Portia says that she never invited her to her house. Like, they're just talking about all the girls, like the new girls. So then they're at their different scenes, the waterfall, the cooking. So we're going back to the cooking. This is with Drew, Kelly, Brit, and Angela. And Kelly is so funny. I like Kelly. Kelly's like, Drew, who is this? And she holds up a napkin. The napkin just so happens to be black. She's like, who is that? And I'm just like, they will not let our girl Drew live. Like, they're like, you will be answering to that. But I'm like, y'all was just saying a couple episodes ago that she was dating Dennis. So I'm like, is she dating Black or is she dating Dennis? Like, which one are y'all trying to run with? Like, it's making no sense to me. So, she's like, who is Black? And I questioned that in my notes too. I'm like, who is Black? I don't know, because they keep throwing his name around. I'm like, am I supposed to know who this man is? I don't know who this man is. And they keep blurring his name. I mean, his picture out, but they're not blurring his name out. So I'm like, is he a producer? But then I'm like, he can't be, because they blurred out Future's name, even though in the trailer they showed his name. I don't know what's going on. So Shamia and Portia seem to be back on good terms, and Shamia is super happy about that. She's like, she has her best friend back. They are joking in the car ride back. So then we get another scene, and that's why it just breaks my heart about Angela's, because we get another scene. Also, Drew did not answer who is Black. She's like, this is my friend. Like, I don't know how many times she got to say that. She's like, this is my friend. That's who it is. So we get the scene of Angela back at the hotel, dolled up, looking good in her red, trying to call Charles for the anniversary. He answers. He is not pleasant on the phone. And I don't want to pick apart the relationship, because like I said, like, it reminds me of like that old school Black love, kind of when y'all like in your 50s and 60s and kind of just like, you both can't stand each other, but you both love each other. So it's giving me that. That's why I'm like, I don't really have much to say, but it's just unfortunate that she keeps embarrassing herself on camera. I said it. She keeps embarrassing herself on camera. This man clearly is not trying to answer you. Girl, wait until the cameras go down. I don't know. It's like Angela wants to prove that like he loves her, but then every time she calls him, it proves that he don't love her. I hate the way that he kind of like shrugs her off, dismisses her. But it reminds me of that old school Black love, when y'all are both miserable, but this is where home is. This is where comfort is. And maybe it's giving that. And like I said, I don't like to judge her relationship. A lot of people are. They're like, oh, he don't love her. I don't think he don't love her, because I don't think he would have went on the show. He's in a lot of scenes. He films with her a lot. I just think that's their dynamic, but it is uncomfortable as a viewer to watch, because I feel like she's constantly putting her business in the front, and she's always putting her relationship to the front, and I feel like he's always low-key embarrassing her. So it was just sad to see. He said he did not miss her. She thinks he's being salty because he normally gets a little something on the anniversary, but I'm like, the way she kind of looks up to him and idolizes him, I feel like he gets it whenever he wants. So that to me was like a poor excuse of like him not answering. I wouldn't have done a confession. I would have declined. I would have been like, next scene. Because it's embarrassing at a certain point. And then I'm also like, text me. I would just be like, I'm about to call you. Can you at least like try to act interested because it's coming off just a certain way, and I just hate that for her. I do hate that for her. Um, so Cynthia, oh, this was a funny clip because they're getting ready to go to the dinner. The prime minister is meeting them out. Prime minister is actually a looker. He was young. I'm always so fascinated by like other countries and like the prime ministers, the presidents. That's even like Canada. Like he looks so young, but it's like our president has to be at least 70 years old. Besides Barack Obama being like the youngest. Our president does never reflects the general population. Besides Barack Obama, ours always represents the elder generation. And I'm just like, why? Especially if you're on your way. You know what I mean? It's like it never reflects who we are as a nation in America. It always reflects one demographic, and that is 70 to 100. And that goes for Supreme Court too. But this is not politics. This is just me saying that I'm very fascinated and always intrigued by these prime ministers and presidents, or, you know, the leaders of these other worlds, because of these other countries, because it just gives more what their nation represents. So when I saw the prime minister, I was like, he looks like most of the black men we were seeing driving around. Like he was probably like maybe 40 something. He wasn't too old. Like it was giving like, oh my gosh, this is a leader. Like this is someone that people would look up to. So on the way there, Cynthia steps on freaking Portia's freaking foot, her toe, and Portia does the funniest confessional. She's like, we're on the way to meet the prime minister, and I gotta make sure I don't have Nubs' feet now, because she's like, I'm trying to see what the prime minister looks like. It was a funny scene. It was really funny. No, she said, I heard the prime minister was single, and you got me showing up with Nubs. Like, that was funny. I was like, okay, that was hilarious. The clip was hilarious, and then the confessional was hilarious. So then we get into the dinner. And this is what I don't like about Shamia. I don't like how you do something, you did throw shade, and then you act like you didn't throw it. She's like throwing shade at Brit, never on Brit's side, but she literally threw shade at her. She's like, you can't, she's like, this is really important to me, you know, meeting the prime minister now. I just always want to make sure my daughter knows like the gift of giving, all of this stuff. And then she's like, you can't just show up with a Birkin and your Rolls Royce. Not looking at Brit, but like looking at her. And it's like everybody caught that shade. And even Brit caught it. She's like, is there an issue? Because I took that as shade. And then Shamia's like, well, I don't know why you would do that. Like Shamia was acting like she didn't just throw shade, but it was totally intended for Brit to receive. So she received it, she's addressing you on it, and you're like, that wasn't for you. And she's like, and if you felt like it was for you, then maybe that's a bigger issue. But I did not like how Shamia did that. I was like, you did mean that for her. And then what we're also finding out is that Brit and Shamia already met up about her donation, where Shamia was like, I was disappointed with how much you gave me. And they talked about the gift. So now we learned that information. So I'm like, Shamia, what are you still complaining about? And it's like you are doing lapdog things. You have a tendency to be a lapdog, because now you're barking up for Brit, at Brit, in honor of your friend, or just to like, I don't know, show you're the big dog around here. It was really weird because it was like y'all had already addressed it. So what is the issue? It made no sense. And then Brit's like, Brit, but I will say, Brit, whenever she is in the heat, in some stuff, she has a very condescending tone. She has a very patronizing tone, a very aggressive tone. So the thing is, Shamia was passive aggressive, but Brit was too aggressive. Like, they got to meet in the middle. So then Brit's like, well, does anyone else have a problem with me? And then Portia's like, well, it's like you say that we don't support you, but you don't even invite me to your house. And then Brit's like, well, I just met you. You don't invite me anywhere. So she's kind of like playing devil's advocate. You can tell, though, Brit does not have friends. I feel like she places being a wife up here, and she kind of lost herself. But I don't even think before she was even in a relationship, she just thinks she's the stuff. What is these kids doing? She just thinks she's the stuff, and she places being a wife up here, hence her shot comment. She's too good for shots because she's a wife. And I'm just like, that's why you have no friends. Just because you're a wife it shouldn't change your core. She's like, we're so over. You can just say you don't like shots. I don't like shots and I'm 25. Like, I don't like shots, but I'm not about to sit up here and say I don't like shots because, I'm 25. I'm going to say I just have never liked shots. I haven't liked shots since I was in college. Like, you know what I mean? I could have been 23 straight out of college. I still wouldn't like shots. I'm not a shot person. But the thing is with Brit, because she's a wife, she feels like she should not be doing shots. Or maybe she has a problem because as soon as she had a shot at the end of the episode, breasts everywhere. I'm like, there's no in between with her. Like, it's either 0 to 100. So Portia's like, you say we don't support you, yada, yada, yada. Brit's like, well, you don't support me, and you're the last one to be talking when you can't even save someone's phone number. Portia explains the phone issue. There's a new group, season 16 Housewives, text message thread. Portia's like, well, who is everybody? Put your name in. Nobody responded. Brit had said something additional. And then Portia was like, well, who is this? And I guess Brit has been holding on to that ever since she's met Portia. Because she's like, well, you didn't even say my number. And then Portia's like, I asked everyone to say their name. They didn't. Eventually, people I was asking, well, who are you? Responded. When they said something, you never responded. I don't have your number saved. So I guess then Brit called her about something. And she's like, who is this? But it wasn't messy. It wasn't shady. It was just like, I asked everyone to put in the chat, please tell me your name so I can save your number. But that's the thing with Brit. Brit is so petty. And that's why I'm like, with Shamia and Brit, I was on Team Brit in that instance. But the thing is, then Brit's like, well, who else has an issue with me? She just goes from 0 to 100. And it's just like, well, girl, who knows if anyone even had an issue with you? That wasn't the time and place. The prime minister's on the way. Prime minister pulls up. Like I said, he's a looker. The ladies are going crazy. It's breasts is everywhere in the last scene because now we get a call from Gerald, Shamia's husband, basically saying how Shiloh is really sick. He's going to probably give her some Tylenol. Shamia breaks down. She's crying. Very sad scene. The ladies rally around her. Kelly sends a group chat text to the women saying how Shamia's really going through something because it was a very scary call. And then Shamia also just talks about how she feels that guilt from being out here living her best life and her daughter's at home sick. And I'm like, it's really bad. And I don't want to see anyone mom shaming her because I'm like, she probably does need a break because it's probably so taxing and it's probably so draining to be a mom, but it's what you sign up for. And that goes to all the moms. It probably is so draining. There's days where regular moms just want to escape, but she is not a regular mom. She is a mom in the limelight, a mom with a daughter who unfortunately has terrible immune, I don't know if it's a disorder, but she just has a very weak immune system. It's really sad. And I'm like, I think Shamia feels that guilt, but it's like, don't feel that guilt because you probably need an escape more than anyone. But unfortunately, when you're mom, you're a full-time mom. So she was debating on going home, but Kelly's basically like, can we rally around, Shamia? So the ladies get there. Brit hugs her. She's like, I F with you, all of this stuff. She's like, I hate that we got into it over the shot. And then at dinner, she made it about herself for one moment. And then she's like, I'll do a shot with you. So she got the shot out, all of this stuff, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. She got the shot and then she just let loose completely. But Shamia's still literally crying. She's very sad. And she's like trying to talk to her about it. And she's like, okay, let's have some fun. She takes the top off, the jumper, which was a really cute dress or whatever. And then she literally just puts her breast on the counter. And I'm just like, disgusting. But before we even, that's the end of the episode. I want to backtrack though, because Phaedra dropped a dime. Phaedra was like, you at this point in your life, for us to be on Housewives, she was basically like, for your economic status, should not be dropping no more than $1,000 for a donation. And that was real. Phaedra got real with her. She was like, at this point in your life, you shouldn't be dropping less than $1,000 for a donation. The $250 was pitiful. I could give the $250, you know what I mean, for something that really mattered to me. So she was just saying, you shouldn't be giving anything less than $1,000. But I thought that was like a dime. She was trying to really take her under her wing. She was like, also, the reason you are struggling so much with making friends is because you need to make friendly with people. You need to present yourself as friendly, as nice. She's like, you don't present yourself as that. That's why you're always getting into it with someone else. And that's the truth. That is the literal truth. But yes, that was Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Let's talk a little bit about Bravo's Love Hotel. We got one more episode left of that. That's why I think we have 2 more episodes left of Atlanta, because they didn't say the next episode was the season finale. So, just some things that I wanted to point out. So, Mitch is another suitor for Luann, and he thinks that James treats Luann disrespectful. I don't think James treats Luann disrespectful. Luann did not like that association. She did not like that conclusion because she got up from her seat with Mitch and went over back to James. She did not like that conclusion at all. I don't think he's disrespectful. I think he is extra and he really likes her a lot. But I don't think he's disrespectful. If anyone's disrespectful, it is Earl. It is Earl. But I will say Shannon does not do herself any favors. She should probably stop dating for a while. I feel like she's always has a new boyfriend. And keep in mind, I don't watch OC, but I do feel like she always has a new man around. And I'm just like, would it benefit you maybe to just like take it easy for a second and maybe not want to date anyone? Maybe that's what we should be doing. So Mark tries to pull Giselle to the side because Mark is seeing that he cannot compare and compete with James. And it was just giving so pitiful. It's like you weren't even interested in Giselle. You're only pulling her to the side so you could stay in the village. Giselle was not here for it. And I'm glad she wasn't, because she's like, I don't want to feel like second best. Like, you're literally only pulling me because you see it's not getting anywhere with Luann. And she's like, and your focus should be with Luann. But Mark don't want to work. He don't. He really don't. So Shannon gave Earl a key to her hotel room. And during this time, there's a hurricane going on that's actually about to hit Florida. He's very nervous, very antsy because he wants to make sure his house is okay. So let's put a pin in that one, because James, then I'm jumping around. James doesn't want anyone touching Luann. So Joel Kim Booster, he announces the next day, he says there's going to be no more eliminations, just one more date, an overnight date. So everything else is more like group activities. So they go to this hot springs, this spa stuff, and that's why James is like, I don't want anyone touching Luann, like that's my girl. And Luann doesn't objectify that, or she doesn't object. She's kind of like, she loves it because she thinks she's being treated as a princess. And to be honest, like, I wouldn't object to you. Okay, this man think I'm his, all right. I mean, if you're not feeling the man, you're gonna tell him that. But she's clearly feeling him. That's why I'm like, the disrespect, it's not giving that. So at the hot springs is where we get some more conversations between Ashley and Ralph. Wale is just watching. He is not here for it. Ashley goes up to Wale to get him, to pull him for a chat. Wale is pulling himself out of the game. He is sick of playing Ashley's game. He's over it. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He sees right through the BS with her. I don't blame him. What else happened? So Phil talks to Giselle. I don't think Giselle's feeling him. I like Theo for Giselle. I really do. So Phil told Giselle that he does know Cynthia and that she's been inside of his house. And then Giselle's like, well, why wouldn't you tell me that when she was there? And he also knows Mike. So I think that was a red flag for Giselle. So I don't know if he knows Cynthia because of Mike or if he knows Mike because of Cynthia. But either way, Cynthia has been at his house, but he says she clearly did not remember him because she did not come up to him at all. So, and I think he had an issue with that. She was like, oh, he's like, yeah, she doesn't even remember me because she didn't even like come up to me or anything. I'm just like, oops. So he was hoping she would clock that they knew each other and she did not. And now he's like, well, I should probably tell you I know Cynthia. That was a little weird. I'm like, why didn't you already tell her? What else happens? So, like I said, Wale is taking himself out of Ashley's game because he never thought he would see himself competing with a 61-year-old European white man. He never saw it. He never saw it for himself. Honestly, I like Wale, but the thing is with Ashley, she doesn't like his type. Let's be real. Let's be so for real. Ashley does not like his type. That's why I will not be shocked when he's not picked. But I will say he has had a lot of integrity during this whole thing. And that's one thing you cannot take away from him, is his integrity. So like I said, so let's revisit this Earl stuff. There's 2 hurricanes approaching. So he has now moved in with Shannon. we're back at the hotel. So Shannon is like, well, I'm going to go out to dinner with the girls. He's like, I'm going to stay here. He's pretty down because there's now a hurricane the hurricane from Florida and spun out of and is heading back to Georgia. And that's where his other house is, where he lives primarily. So he's getting nervous about that. Shannon's like, okay, is everything okay? She asked him. She's like, I'm going to go out to eat with the girls. Shannon gets back from the bar after being lit. When isn't she? She was lit, having a good time dancing with the girls. So she gets home. Earl is not there. And we get a production card. Like, Earl decided to leave her room. Like, it was 4 a.m. or something. So then she gets a text from him in the morning and basically hey, I would, after texting him all throughout the night and not getting a response, she wanted to make sure he was okay. He responds and they have a conversation. Earl feels the type of way that Shannon did not investigate where this hurricane was to check to see that his house was okay. But she claims she asked him, was it anywhere near his house? He said no, but he said you didn't even look it up to see where the eye of it was. He wanted her to look it up to make sure it wasn't heading toward his house. He was upset that she didn't do that. Two things can be true. When Shannon was learning about the hurricane towards his house, I do think she could have been more into it. I don't think she was really caring. She wasn't really showing that she kind of cares. She was just kind of like, whatever. She's like, yeah, she's like, your house is going to be fine, right? But it's clearly bothered him. But I'm still on Team Shannon with this one specifically because I'm not always on Team Shannon. Because Earl really wanted her to investigate and figure out what's in his mind. He said he felt the type of way that she still went out to drinks with the girls. He thought she would have been with him. He basically said, this is not about you. You should have been here with me. They're not right for each other. And I said that from the jump. Go back to my old episodes. I said that people were like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. I said, y'all are trauma bonding. Whenever you're trauma bombing, love bombing me, anything with an ing, it's not working. And I said that. I was like, I don't see it for them. He's too different. And first of all, the vegetable thing, that was a lot for how she got upset, how she was nitpicking him. She didn't like his shirt was open. She thought that was a little crass or whatever the word is. I just said, it's not going to work. These are two different people in two different stages of their life. He's very simple. And the inside joke between them is she's not so simple. It just was never going to work. So now we get this. He's feeling a type of way because she didn't check in. I think that was absurd, though, for him to be going off on her like that. And basically, Joel confronts the group. He was like, I heard there was an issue. The ladies want to hear because ladies like, you can't say that BS. Honestly, I was shocked that this was all happening. I was actually cracking up. And then Joel's like, can you guys tell me what happened? So then Earl recounts the story as she never checked in on him. He was like, she says that she reached out to me and checked in on me, but she never did. And Shannon's like, I want to storm out right now. If I'm being 100% honest, I want to storm out because she said, I did check in on you. And he's lying. So that was Bravo's Love Hotel. I think Shannon will be checking out of the Love Hotel as a solo person. I don't think she'll be leaving with anyone. I think with Shannon, I would like to see her back, better crop of guys. The thing is with Shannon, she put all her eggs in one basket. Shannon finds one thing wrong with someone from what I've seen, and then kind of ices them out. When it's just kind of you didn't even give that other guy a chance that you were trying to set up with Luann once you figured it wasn't going to work out because you were more attracted to Earl. She should have kept her options more open. She should have did it the Ashley way. She should have did it the Giselle way. She'll even do it the Luann way. She put all her eggs in one basket with Earl, and I feel like that's really dampened her experience on Bravo's Love Hotel. But in terms of who her list would be, she said on Watch Women's Life, she said Paige DeSorbo. Who else did she say? She said Heather Gay, who is apparently her really good friend. Who else did she say? Yikes, I cannot remember who she said. Those two. She said someone else young, and I was just like, ooh. I really can't remember. But it was a bunch of it was someone else. I think someone from Southern Charm or something. I don't know. Lala Kent. She said Lala Kent. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, yay!" I was like, are we like accepting Lala Kent again?" I don't know, but and I can't remember the other two. The other two were housewives or something. But yes, that was your toxic, but it's Tuesday episode. The toxicity was everywhere. It was on Bravo's Love Hotel, it was on Atlanta, it was in our reality topics, it was in everything we just talked about. Thank you so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts. I cannot wait until the next time. We're going to talk about Miami. We're going to talk about some other stuff. Maybe get into the Justin Baldoni and the Blake Lively of it all just a little bit. I don't want to get engulfed into it because it's way too much. But thank you so much for listening. Until the next time.